Guys, it's getting harder and harder for me to hide my gray hairs in these videos, so just pretend you don't see them. Hi guys, I just want to talk today about a question I got in my DMs about when should you leave a narcissist? And you know, it really got me to thinking, who am I to tell you when you should leave your partner? Narcissist or not? How can anyone make that decision for you? It's so personal, and there are so many different circumstances that come into play. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that today, and you know, maybe take some of the pressure off if you feel like you have to leave right now. So let's just dive right into the video. My name is Amy, this is Narcaway. My channel is devoted to educating, supporting, and encouraging victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse. I forgot for a second there. I have that script so memorized, sometimes it just leaves my head. But you know who I am, you know what I do, and let's not waste any more time. When should you leave a narcissist? If you are in a marriage or in a relationship with somebody who you believe to be narcissistic, when do you leave that relationship? Normally, my go-to answer would be as soon as possible. Get out, go no contact, run and hit the hills. But after thinking about that for a little bit, I realized that that's not a fair answer. It is not realistic for most people to just up and go and leave their partners. If you have a family together, if you have children together, if you are married, if you are dependent on your partner financially, you know, you're going to be somewhat connected emotionally if you're in a romantic relationship with them. But it takes time and it takes planning to leave. I know even for myself, it wasn't instant. There was a lot of trial and error. There was a lot of planning. There was a lot of decision making, and there was a lot of, I'm not ready yet, maybe next year. So I know for me how hard it was, somebody who was not married or had children or even lived with my partner, how hard that was for me. I know that the more ties you have to a narcissist, the harder it's going to be. A lot of the times you hear stories where people leave after the kids are grown. Wait till the kids are out of high school, maybe they're in college living on their own. That might free up some time. And that's a personal decision. And I think the question you really need to ask yourself to answer correctly for you in your situation is, how long can you and do you want to live this way? If the narcissist you're with is not really affecting your day-to-day life, if you're not depressed, if you're not fighting and walking on eggshells every single day, but you can maybe see the big picture, you can see down the line that's not somebody you want to grow old with, maybe you have the luxury to hold off. Perhaps in your situation, you can stay a little bit longer just to keep your life easier financially and just to keep the family unit together. Now, if your children are being abused or if the narcissist is severely abusive to you, I wouldn't recommend that. I would say get out as soon as possible. But as we know, narcissism is on a scale. There's different types of narcissism. There's different levels of narcissism. People can be narcissists without being abusive, and people can be abusive without being narcissists. So I just think the question is going to come back to, how toxic is your household? How do you feel coming home every day? If you are miserable, if you are unhappy, then start making your plan. Even if it's a 5-year plan, start now, because when you do get to that point, you'll be prepared to go. And you don't have to share anything with your partner about your plan. You can keep this near and dear to you. Keep it in your head. Maybe you want to share a close friend or a family member that you can trust. Maybe they can help you and they'll support you. But make the effort, take the time, understand what you're going to deal with when you leave. Because when you divorce a narcissist, it can get pretty ugly too. They say the only thing worse than living with a narcissist is divorcing one. So just be careful and have a plan in place. Save your money, start a separate bank account, start separating yourself, both financially and emotionally, from your partner. You don't have to let them in on all your inner secrets and your thoughts and your plans. They don't have to have full access to you and your mind at all times, even though that's what they want. They're going to tell you that you owe that to them, and they're going to manipulate you to try to extract that information. They're going to let you think that you don't have a right to private thoughts. And that's not true. You are your own person. You make your own decisions, and what you need to do is do what's best for you. If you have children, you're going to be of no use to them if you are depressed and miserable and unhappy. What's that going to do to a child to see their parent in that state? It's not going to be good. You need to take care of yourself first. And the analogy I like to use is the airplane mask. They say if the oxygen mask deploys in an airplane, you always put it on yourself first, and then you help the others around you, including your children. Because if you start helping other people before you help yourself, you're going to deplete your energy, you're going to starve yourself of oxygen, and then you're going to be no good. So you need to help yourself first, so then you can help everyone around you that you want to, the people that you love and the people that rely on you. Self-care is important, and planning your escape from narcissistic abuse or a toxic relationship is important. There is no right answer on when to leave. It's very personal. It's very dependent on each situation because everybody's different. You're at different ages. You're at different stages in life. You have different things. You might have a lot of money. You might have a little bit of money. You might be somewhere in between. You might be able to make it on your own. You might just be on the fence where you're this close, and maybe there's a situation where you can find a roommate or lived with a loved one, or, take the kids to a shelter and get away from that toxicity if it's that bad. Maybe it's not that bad that you can't stand it for a couple more years. Maybe it's very irritating and annoying, but if there isn't severe abuse to the point where you have to leave and you should leave and you have a responsibility to leave to keep your children safe, then maybe you decide, I'm going to leave in 6 months. I'm going to leave next year. I'm going to wait till the kids are out of whatever, elementary school, high school, college, whatever fits your situation. And what I'm trying to say in this video is there is no answer. Don't let somebody pressure you or tell you what to do, when to leave, what the right time to leave is. Nobody can make that decision for you. You can only make that decision for yourself, and you have to ask yourself, how long do you want to put up with this for? And that's what I did. I was with my narcissistic ex for 10 years. And, it ebbed and flowed. I thought sometimes that we were doing pretty good and that the abuse wasn't that bad. Yes, he had these terrible habits. Yes, he was manipulative. Yes, he was controlling. Yes, he was contemptuous. But in my mind, I was like, well, if I leave, I still have to deal with all these other things. I'm going to have to get new friends. I'm going to have to find a new social circle. I'm going to have to find new activities. So maybe putting up with that for another year prevents me with having to take on all these new responsibilities. And so I did that for a couple of years. I played that game. Well, it's not that bad. I don't want to deal with the breakup and all the repercussions of leaving. So I stayed. But the longer I stayed, the less tolerant I became, the more I saw the abuse and realized it was very unhealthy and not the way I wanted to live my life. That is the bottom line. I realized that I was not going to marry him. I was not going to grow old with him. I knew that. There was a point where I knew that there was an end date for our relationship. I didn't have that end date. I didn't know when it was going to be. I didn't know how to make it, but I certainly knew I wasn't going to be with him forever. I knew I deserved more. I knew I wanted more for myself, and I knew I was unhappy. I really wanted happiness back in my life. And the only way I was going to get that was by leaving him. And I tried, I attempted to leave, and I failed several times, which is very, very, very common when you're leaving narcissistic relationships. Because as you know, they hoover you back in, you get sucked back in, and you do the whole dance over again. And that usually happens, they say, an average of 7 times. And for me, I think it was more than that. I think there was at least 10 times I tried to leave and got sucked back into it. And it's only by going through that cycle a few times that you understand what's going to happen. So you really have to have willpower. You have to have strength. You have to have a plan. You have to know that you're not going to get sucked back in and you're going to leave for good. So maybe you do those few trial attempts, you leave knowing that you might go back, and don't get upset, don't get discouraged, just reset and make a new plan and understand what happened, why it happened, where your boundaries were lacking, where you had your defenses down and he was able to penetrate your force field and suck you back in. That's what you have to do. You have to build up that wall. You have to go no contact. You have to have the willpower, the strength, the support, and move on and stay gone forever. And then once you do that, you will be happy again. You will be your old self again, and you will start living your life again. And you're reborn in a way, because that abuse, you have no idea how it changes you and how you're changed afterward when you go back to your old self, but in a way you become your new self because you're armed with all of this new information that you didn't have before. So you're able to get back out there even better than before because you're stronger. You've gone through this trauma, which strengthens you, it educates you, it makes you more compassionate and empathetic. And it just really, believe it or not, the abuse and the trauma that you go through really does make you a better person, just with the knowledge you have and the empathy you have after going through something like that. It's just something you can't replicate. So take that and use that in your life going forward, whether you use that to help other people or to listen to other people. That is something that will definitely help you and help others later on down the line. But I digress. The bottom line and the point of this video that I really want to make is there is no right time to leave. You need to assess your very specific and individual situation and circumstance and act accordingly in what is in your best interest for you and your family. So take that information. I hope this takes some of the pressure off you, that you don't feel like you have to leave right now, because that can cause more stress than than you already have in an already very stressful situation. Having that added pressure to leave if you're not ready to leave doesn't help the situation. Absolutely, leave as soon as possible, but as soon as possible is very subjective. You decide what as soon as possible is for you on your terms. Okay guys, I hope this video helped you today. I missed you guys all so much. I'm so glad to be back. And if you have any other video topic suggestions, I would love to hear them. Go ahead and comment down below. I read all the comments. And if you don't already, please subscribe and hit that like button if you liked this video. Share your comments below. You know, by spreading the word about this, by liking and subscribing and commenting, that gets my videos out there to see more people who might need this help. I found so many videos just by accident, by searching things like the silent treatment, and that's how I got out of my relationship. So it was videos like these that literally saved my life. And if we can, as a community, save someone else's, let's go ahead and do that. Share this with anyone that you know that might take any piece of helpfulness from this video or any of my videos, and share it with everyone. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. See you in the next video.